Listen, do some of you ever wonder what to do next in your business? What is the next decision to make, the next move that's going to help you move things forward? Maybe you're just not sure what's going to get the most results. My name is Jeremiah Krakowski, and I've been helping business owners for the last 18 years sell more online and use the internet to find more customers. And the thing that I find most people do is they get stuck on what are their next steps. They have a big vision, but they get stuck on the tiny details, overthinking things constantly, overthinking what they need to do, how to do it, how to put all the pieces together. And what I love to do is I love to bring some clarity to people about that. It's not as difficult as we make it in our heads. It's not as hard as we come up with it. To be honest, the people that I know that are the most successful in business that I've worked with are the ones that can learn how to simplify each step. The ones that can learn how to not overwhelm themselves, not overthink it, and actually give themselves grace to make mistakes sometimes. Actually give themselves grace to learn what they don't know. Actually ask for help for the things that they're struggling with. And so if you're somebody that's building a business, you're using the internet, you're trying to get customers online, I'd love to help you figure out what those things are. One of the very first places to start is are you staying consistent with your actions every single day? Are you doing the things that a business owner should do that are going to get results? Have you analyzed and looked at what are the very next steps that you need to do this week? Listen, don't take 6 months to do what could take you 3 days. Don't take 6 months trying to figure out the best, most perfect way to do it, letting perfectionism keep you stuck. Listen, perfectionism is a murderer, is a deadly killer when it comes to business success. And I see a lot of people get stuck in perfectionism, trying to make their business perfect, trying to make all their actions be right, trying to do all the right things, quote unquote, that other people say that they should do. Keep it simple. Simplify it. Take consistent actions every single day. Are you going to see results right away? No, probably not. But if you find and identify what are your next steps over the next 3 days in your business, identify it, think about it. Like really take some time to write it down on a piece of paper. Write it down, go over it. What are those next steps? Maybe you don't know what those next steps are, and that's what I love to help people with, is figuring out what are the next steps that are going to get the most profitable results in their businesses. Now, if you haven't scheduled a free call with me, we can go over that together. If you have, you can even still schedule a call with me to do that. That's what I talk with people about. That's what I coach them with. And that's what I work with them through in my podcast. If you're somebody that maybe you're like, oh, Jeremiah, I'm not sure if I'm ready for that, you can send me a DM, you can comment on this post, you can do whatever that is. I believe that every single person, if you're watching this right now, your next steps are literally right in front of you. And they're probably, here's a hint to what they are. What's the thing that terrifies you the most? What are you most scared of? What are you so completely gripped with fear with doing that has been keeping you stuck? Usually that's the very next step that people need to take in their business to get results. I'm serious. It's not happy news. It's not what you probably want to hear, but the thing that's going to get you results in your business is probably what you've been avoiding, putting off, or maybe you even made a decision. I don't want to do that to get results. I'm going to try to figure everything else out before I do that. Maybe you're trying to make everything perfect before you get started. Your breakthrough is on the other side of your fear. And your next steps are right in front of you. What are those things in the next 3 days that you can do in your business to move the needle forward towards your goals? Focus on those things. Don't focus on what you got to do in the next 6 months. Don't focus on what you got to do in the next 5 weeks. Focus on what you got to do in the next 3 days and do those things. Now you got to ask yourself, if you're like, well, I don't know. What is stopping you from figuring that out? Figure that out. Like, figure out, why are you stuck? What is the real reason that you're not making forward momentum? When you can identify that, it comes from being honest with yourself about where you're at, why you're there, and what's keeping you stuck. You can make a plan to move forward, and you can get results in your business. It's going to take hard work. It's going to take you doing the things that you've been putting off and what you've been afraid of doing. There's no ifs, ands, or buts or ways around that, my friends. But once you can start doing that consistently, the results start to come in. When you start to stay faithful with yourself and your business, when you start to get focused, when you start to get clarity, when you start to put the puzzle pieces together, when you start to lay them all out and say, okay, what have I been putting off and what do I need to start doing? When you start doing those things, that's when the results come in. And if maybe you've been thinking about scheduling a 15-minute call with me for a while, but you're said to yourself, I hear this often, well, I'm not ready for it. I'm not at the place where I'm ready for a 15-minute call with you, Jeremiah. I'd love to help you identify just where you're at right now and point you either to a podcast episode, maybe make a piece of content, a book that I can recommend, something to help you get a little bit closer to your goals. I'm going to put a link on this post for you to schedule a 15-minute call with me. Let's talk soon, and let's help you figure out and identify what are those next steps to get your business to the next level. I'd love to help you. I'd love to help you identify that